Hey everyone, Sip here with another Planet Zoo video. Today I'm recreating the old deer buildings at Antwerp Zoo. And again, I'd like to welcome everyone who joined in since last week. We are getting really close to 500 subscribers. So if you haven't done it yet, but you do enjoy this series, be sure to subscribe. Now, let's talk a bit about these old deer buildings. The old deer buildings were constructed to house deer, llamas and alpacas. From what I could find, there seems to be a lot of mystery surrounding when these buildings were actually constructed. Somewhere before 1900, architect Emil Tielens made some designs that would later become these buildings. However, the buildings don't show up on the zoo map of 1876, nor was it discussed in a description of the zoo in 1885. Logic would say that it was built somewhere between 1885 and 1900 when it does show up on the map. One of the old postcards I found from around 1891 does show the area with the Egyptian temple in the background and what looks like alpacas in the habitat in front of the deer buildings. The buildings themselves aren't really visible on the postcard because of some trees, but I suspect that they probably would have some sort of accommodation for these animals, meaning the old deer buildings might originate from around this time. For a long time the area was used as a habitat for deer, but nowadays the enclosure has been replaced by a playground for kids. There is still a small habitat for a Greek tortoise though. And it's actually that habitat or that enclosure that we are currently making here, because the building on the far left actually connects to that habitat. So they at least kept in one of the animals, or one of the habitats in this area. I think there were at some point even mongoose in this little thing, so yeah, just a small little animal to that would probably attract kids if they don't want to play anymore or something. And probably some animals that don't get startled too quickly, because of course with this playground you'll have a lot of kids running, screaming, so I don't think a tortoise would be bothered that much by it. But yeah, all of these buildings are made out of red brick and green painted wood, so it might get a bit repetitive over here. But one thing I struggled with a lot, all these roofs are made out of thatch, and we only have like 2 options of thatch in the game, and they're all like basically the same. They're just a different color, but there's like no variation in how the angle of the roof is or anything. There's like no, like I don't know the right words for it in English, but there's like no like things you would have on the roof that stick out and stuff like that, which is quite annoying because this building with the thatched roof is basically like these thatched roofs you'd see in, what is it, England or something. They have these cottages with thatched roofs, and they are not just 2 straight slabs of thatch connecting to each other in a 90-degree angle or something. No, they're actually more curved, and that's not possible with what we have in the game right now. So that's why these buildings, I would say, are probably like the most inaccurate recreations I've made so far, because there's not really anything I could do about that with the thatched roof. So here I'm working on the fence of the Greek tortoise habitat. I basically wanted to have this glass and then these poles on top, or this wooden thing on top of it, and then have some metal poles going all the way around. I didn't record all of that, but I think this does give it a little bit more of a realistic look compared to just having glass all around it. Now I'm putting in a algebra giant tortoise in here because we don't have a Greek tortoise just yet. I think the game really lacks in European animals, and I think, like, for me personally as a European, I don't get to see too many wild animals or animals in the wild. And I think the Greek tortoise is actually one of the only animals that I actually saw in the wild, if I don't count things like deer or boar or anything. Like, the most exotic animal I've seen in the wild is probably the Greek tortoise. might be a bit sad for me, but yeah. I haven't gone to Africa or anything on a safari, so I couldn't have seen anything else than a Greek tortoise. So yeah, now we've arrived at the second building here, which is slightly different in the meaning that you have these red bricks on the bottom, but all the rest is basically this green painted wood. And there's also two like of these popping, I don't know how to say it, but these, yeah, you can see them here, which was I don't really like how it turned out because they're way too big for what it actually is. But like I said before, I'm severely limited with what we have in the game. Like you saw me put in there one of these roof decorations, which is actually a small thatched, like small roof thing there in the middle, and has a little bit more curve behind it. And that's actually, if we would have those pieces as like block to the, oh yeah, I replaced them for the bigger ones as well, so that looks a bit better. But if we had that shape for the entire or an entire thatched roof set in that shape, that would be basically how I would have done it instead. Yeah. Basically just copying over some stuff from the other building and then giving it another green painted wood trim. And the building is basically done after I do this, I think. And I forgot to put a tower on this first building. There's actually like this small little tower. It does have a thatched roof as well, but we don't really have small thatched roof elements. So what I did was just use that, and the tower doesn't really look anything like what it is in real life. Like I said before, this building is probably, or these buildings are probably like the least accurate recreation I've done so far. So this is definitely like more of a inspired by or something than a real recreation of this area. Also, I didn't really have that much time this week. I actually got appointed on a temporary teaching job, so that's eating all my time right now. Otherwise I would have spent way more time on this building and on the other deer buildings. And with the upcoming Egyptian temple that I want to do, I wanted to spend more time on that and thinking about that. So yeah, I tried something here with these thatched pieces, but like this part is just difficult to do with the shape it has. It's an octagon, and then yeah, I don't really like how it turned out, but given the pieces that we have in the game right now, it's the best I could do. And okay, it may look a bit wonky, especially the roof there, but it's the best I could do. Now I did also use some workshop stuff for the playground again, because as I said the previous time I did that, I really don't want to spend too much time working on playgrounds, and playgrounds especially because they change every so many years, and like I just went on the workshop, found something that looked similar to what they have. I'm gonna shout out the creator when we are actually in the live game, and that is actually like in a couple of seconds now, and you'll see how much better this looks with foliage and stuff all around it. Now live inside of the game, so we go through here. We have our Grade 8 building over here on the left, our Savannah restaurant, and a playground we did earlier. So if you want to check that out, go check out the episode of the Savannah restaurant. But over here we have our deer buildings, and with some actual trees and bushes around them. They don't look as bad as they did in the Speedbuild, because everything looked bare and just empty. But with these bushes and the playground in place, like this area has come together. So insert Beatles meme here, but they have come together so well. The playground itself is as I said, a workshop item made by, let me quickly check it out on the Steam Workshop, made by Disaster. So they did a great job. I think they are German or something, because the description over here was in German. Yeah, Disaster did a great job. Now, I might go back at the very end of the series to do all these playgrounds and make them actually accurate to how they are in the Antwerp Zoo, but one problem I have is I just don't have pictures of this, because a grown man going through the zoo taking pictures of playgrounds and kids playing on playgrounds is kind of weird. Anyways, so over here we have our turtle. He's currently resting on this branch. Yeah. I might try and make an actual Greek tortoise mod, just to have a more European representation in this game. And speaking about Greek tortoises, I might have, or I might not have, a little surprise, a little upcoming thing involving Greece. And yeah, let's just say I did some work on another zoo. I wouldn't even call it a zoo, but it's gonna be interesting, I think. So keep an eye out. Might come in the near future. Might be next week. Might be this week even. I don't know. Kind of depends on something. But just keep an eye out for that. And yeah, I think I said everything. But anyways, if you like this episode, consider giving it a like. And if you want to see more of this, and if you want to, of course, if you want to see what secret project I have been working on, do subscribe to the channel. We are really getting close to 500 subscribers. I never thought I would reach that, but here we are. And I hope I'll see you in a next episode. Bye!